I request everyone to please rise and welcome our honorable chief guest. I request the dignitaries to come forward to please light the lamp. I, Advocate Kunika Sadanand, on behalf of the University of Mumbai, in collaboration with Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Trust, welcome you all to the 8th Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Lecture on Human Rights and Environmental Justice. We express our gratitude and thank Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, sitting judge of Supreme Court of India, for gracing the occasion, and look forward to his views, his guidance and vision on the issues of human rights and environmental justice. I request the dignitaries to please come on stage. Please welcome Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, Justice Rajeshree Chagla, Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, Pro-Vice Chancellor of Dr. Ajay Bhambre, sir, Dr. Rajeshree Varhadi, and Professor Rashmi ma'am. I now request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request Justice Rajeshree Chagla to please felicitate Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir. I request our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, sir, to please felicitate Honorable Justice Rajeshree Chagla, sir. I request Dr. Rajeshree Varhadi, ma'am, Head of Law Department of University of Mumbai, to felicitate the Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, sir. I request Rashmi Oza Ma'am, Chairprofessor of Chief Justice Chagla Chair, to please felicitate the Pro Vice Chancellor. Sorry. To welcome the Registrar of the Mumbai University, Dr. Karande, sir. I request Professor Sheetal Sethia, Faculty Member of Law Department, to felicitate retired Honorable Justice Gautam Patel of the High Court of Bombay. I request Dr. Alka Patil Ma'am, Faculty Member, to please felicitate Rashmikant Sir, who is a trustee of Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Trust. I welcome you also once again. Now we will go ahead and release the book, Chief Justice M.C.Chagla Memorial Lectures. Request for the books to be handed out to our dignitaries, as well as to the honored guests seated in the audience. I now call upon Dr. Rajeshree Varhadi, Head of Law Department, to welcome everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Justice Abhay S.Oka, Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice M.C.Chagla, sir, Judge of the Bombay High Court, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ravindra Kulkarni, Honorable Dr. Prasad Karande, Registrar of the University of Mumbai, Dr. Rashmi Oza, my colleague and dear friend and Chair-Professor of Justice M.C.Chagla Chair. It is my privilege to welcome you all in this August gathering.
Justice Mahesh Sonak is also here. Justice Mahesh Sonak.
Distinguished guest, Justice M.C.Chagla was a multifaceted personality. He was an immensely respected lawyer and a jurist of international repute. He served as the first Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court and as a judge of the International Court of Justice at The Hague. He was also appointed as the ambassador to the United States. Thereafter, he was named as the High Commissioner to Britain. On his return, Justice Chagla served as the Minister of Education for a period of 3 years, followed by his stint as the Minister for External Affairs. His autobiography, Roses in December, is even today widely read by all sections of the society, apart from the lawyers, law teachers, and law students. It is my privilege and great honor to welcome Honorable Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, Judge of the Supreme Court of India and Chief Guest of today's function. His Lordship's presence here today is not only a testament to his deep commitment to the rule of law, but also a source of inspiration for all of us who value integrity, impartiality, and justice. We are truly fortunate to have the opportunity to hear from the Lordship, whose decision has helped shape the legal landscape of our nation. Honorable Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, has always kept the public interest at the heart of administration of justice. At High Court and Supreme Court of India, Justice Oka, sir, has delivered various landmark judgments in the field of human rights, environmental law, criminal law. His judgments on protection of the mangroves, addressing noise pollution issues, and the menace of hoardings have benefited the public at large. He can be truly described as the green judge who strived through his judicial ruling to protect the environment at all levels. His Lordship has a very long association with the Department of Law, University of Mumbai, and he laid the foundation of the university's first law school, that is University of Mumbai Law Academy. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation to be the chief guest of this prestigious memorial lecture. Honorable Justice Rajeshree, sir, Judge of the Bombay High Court, hailed as an illustrious son of his illustrious father and an illustrious grandson of Justice M.C.Chagla. His journey in the legal field is testament to integrity and dedication. We heartily welcome Honorable Justice Rajeshree, sir, in this memorable occasion. We today also remember Advocate Iqbal Chagla, sir, a late distinguished senior advocate who has made a huge contribution in the field of law, including impacting public interest litigation jurisprudence at the Supreme Court of India and the High Courts. He was held in extremely high esteem by the bar and bench alike and assisted the High Court as amicus curiae in various complex constitutional matters. He has laid foundation for Justice M.C.Chagla Chair on Human Rights and Civil Liberties in the Department of Law, University of Mumbai in the year 2009. He will be alive forever in our hearts. Sir has given us timely guidance throughout for steady development of the department. I also warmly welcome our Honorable Professor Ravindra Kulkarni, Sir, Vice Chancellor of the University of Mumbai. He steadfastly supports us and motivates us to organize such educational programs and also to undertake various activities to broaden the horizons of legal education. He inspires us to work for the betterment of the department and ultimately of the University of Mumbai. I welcome Honorable Dr. Prasad Karande, sir, Registrar of the University of Mumbai, and I appreciate his always support in organizing functions and undertaking various legal education projects. I welcome Dr. Rashmi M, in charge Professor of Justice M.C.Chagla Chair in this memorable event, who has taken efforts to organize this memorial lecture. She is a very dedicated law professor. I also acknowledge the gracious presence of Honorable Justice A.S. Tandurkar, sir, Judge, Bombay High Court, Honorable Justice Manish Pitade, sir, Judge of the Bombay High Court, Honorable Justice Gauri Godse, Judge of the Bombay High Court, Honorable Justice Rajesh Patil, sir, Judge of the Bombay High Court, Honorable Justice Gautam Patel, former Judge of the Bombay High Court, Justice Sonak, sir, Judge of the Bombay High Court, Honorable Justice R.Y. Ganu, sir, former Judge of the Bombay High Court. Also, I appreciate gracious presence of Advocate Nitin Thakkar, sir, President of Bombay Bar Association. I acknowledge here presence of Advocate Rui Rodriguez, Senior Counsel of University of Mumbai. I appreciate presence of Advocate Anita Agarwal, Madam, Advocate Anil Harish, Sir, who always supports us in all our academic endeavors. I also welcome Advocate Rashmi M, Sir, Trustee of Justice Chagla, Sir. I thank you all once again for gracing this occasion. I welcome all distinguished guests present in this hall. Thank you very much. I also welcome Justice Amit Borkar, sir, for his gracious presence. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Varhadi ma'am, for those wonderful words. I now request our Vice Chancellor, sir, to please say a few words.
His Lordship Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, the keynote speaker for 8th Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Talk. Justice Chagla, sir, Professor Rashmi M, who is holding the position of Justice Chagla Chair-Professor position. Professor Rajeshree Varhadi, who is holding the position of Head Department of Law as well as Hon'ble. Registrar Dr. Dr. Prasad Karande, sir. All the dignitaries who are present of the dais, former and current justice from Bombay High Court, all my dear professors, faculty members, and the student colleagues. It has been really a matter of pride for having His Lordship, Justice Abhay S.Oka here for delivering a talk on human rights and environmental justice. In fact, we always remember the affection which Justice Abhay S.Oka has for University of Mumbai. He always says he would be here primarily because of his affection for University of Mumbai, since as well as since the overall function is connected to Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Lecture, so that's naturally a second point of affection for him. And third, since the topic is very close to his heart, human rights and environmental justice. So let me welcome His Lordship Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, and let me extend thanks for accepting the invitation on behalf of University of Mumbai. Friends, University of Mumbai is in fact playing a great role as far as environmental sustainability activities are concerned. Now we are in collaboration with British Council, we are organizing climate skill program and creating awareness about sustainability, climate change across the jurisdiction of University of Mumbai. And we are undertaking now a plan for a carbon neutral campus at Kalina of University of Mumbai. We are undertaking a lot of preservation for wetland, mangrove, and as well as we would like to make the campus entirely carbon neutral through installation of solar system, as well as going for a complete reuse of wastewater, so that there would be a net positive flow for water in terms of rainwater harvesting as well as reuse and recycle of wastewater as well. So there appears to be a lot of activities which are essential from the environmental angle, from the sustainability perspective, and naturally it is a sustainable development goal given by UNESCO, which is to be realized by 2030. And of course, a carbon neutral or a net zero emission by 2070 for entire nation. So from that perspective, everyone has to be well aware of sustainable activities to be undertaken at each and every stage of life cycle. And the connected legal part connected to environmental and sustainability is definitely assumes great importance. And that's how we have a the 8th Justice Chagla, Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Lecture here. Another part, like University of Mumbai derives pride in having Chief Justice Chagla Chair Professor position at University of Mumbai. As we are well aware, Chief Justice Chagla sir was man of many many talents and many scholarships. He was a jurist, he was Chief Justice, he was an educationist, served as a Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, and he served as a Cabinet Minister position. He was diplomat, and moreover, he was really a great human being. And that's how University of Mumbai takes really a deep pride in having a Chair Professor position in the memory of Chief Justice Chagla. And that's how probably our law department is moving ahead with lot of dynamics connected with law education as well as profession. With that word, I again extend my sincere thanks to Justice His Lordship Abhay S.Oka sir for accepting our invitation and agreeing to deliver the 8th Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravindra Kulkarni sir, for those wonderful words, and we got to know a lot more about our honorable guests. I request Riyaz Chagla sir, Judge of Bombay High Court, grandson of Honorable M.C.Chagla sir, and son of late Senior Counsel Iqbal Chagla. I request Riyaz Chagla sir to please address this respected august gathering. Sorry about that.
Justice Abhay S.Oka, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, Registrar of the University of Mumbai, Dr. Prakash Karande, Dr. Rajeshree Varhadi, Head of the Law Department of University of Mumbai, Dr. Rashmi M, Chair-Professor, Chief Justice Chagla Chair, sister and brother judges, professors, advocates, students, ladies and gentlemen. As a trustee of the Chief Justice M.C.Chagla Memorial Trust, it's a privilege to be here today. I'm sure that my father, Iqbal Chagla, who was one of the founder trustees and who passed away early this year, would have very much wanted to be here. This address is on his behalf as well as on behalf of the other trustees. My deepest gratitude goes to Justice Abhay S.Oka, who has most willingly agreed to deliver the 8th Chief Justice M.C.Chagla lecture on human rights and environmental justice. The chair in human rights and civil liberties was established by the trust in the Department of Law via a memorandum of understanding dated 22nd January 2008, executed with the University of Mumbai. Dr. Rashmi M has been heading the chair, having been selected upon giving due weightage to her contribution in research in the area of human rights and civil liberties, as well as her achievements in this field. The book which is being released today is titled Chief Justice M.C.Chagla Memorial Memorial Lectures, compiled and edited by Dr. Rashmi M. The book comprises 7 prestigious Chief Justice M.C.Chagla Memorial Lectures on human rights and civil liberties. These have been delivered by eminent jurists comprising of former judges of the Supreme Court and the Bombay High Court. The lectures delivered by them reflect their expertise in the field of human rights and civil liberties and their immense contribution to the cause of human rights. Justice Abhay S.Oka, who will be delivering the lecture today, has zealously protected human rights and civil liberties through his judgments. During the COVID-19 statewide lockdowns in 2020 and 2021, policemen were seen thrashing people on the roads. Taking note of the rampant brutality, Justice Abhay S.Oka, as the then Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court, intervened during both the lockdowns and directed the DG and IGP of Karnataka to restrain his personnel. One of the most remarkable orders was his direction to the state government to compensate and rehabilitate migrant workers whose huts had been demolished illegally, pursuant to xenophobic complaints. The judgment reiterated that the fundamental right to life enshrines the right to shelter and could be restricted only through a fair and reasonable process. Since his elevation to the Supreme Court, Justice Oka has continued to uphold these principles. He has been part of benches that have addressed critical issues related to human rights, including the rights to privacy and the protection of dissenting voices. I had the good fortune to sit in division bench with Justice Oka. It is noteworthy to mention that one of the judgments delivered by him was concerning the preservation of mangroves, and I was a part of that division bench. In the judgment, it was held that destruction of mangroves offends the fundamental rights of citizens under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. My grandfather, the late M.C.Chagla, all his life strived for upholding human rights and civil liberties. Appended to his autobiography, Roses in December, is a text of a speech delivered extempore by him whilst inaugurating the All India Civil Liberties Conference held in Ahmedabad, Gujarat state then, on 12th October 1975, under the auspices of the Citizens for Democracy, a non-party institution engaged in the task of propagating democratic values and defending democratic institutions. This was during the troubled times of the emergency imposed in India. The conference was presided over by Shri J.C. Shah, a former Chief Justice of India, of the Supreme Court of India. I would like to quote from an extract of his speech, quote, "Friends, we have to ask ourselves this question and seriously consider what is going to happen to our country. The question I ask myself is, do I want to live in a police state or do I want to live in a democratic state? Because this is a police state when a man cannot write what he wants and have it published, when newspapers cannot publish any comments, when people can be sent behind bars without any reasons being assigned. There is not much difference between a police state as existing elsewhere and what is existing here today. So the first question I ask myself is, am I going to live in a democratic state or a police state? The second question I want to ask myself is, do I want to live in a free society or a captive society? Do I, as an Indian who looks up to Mahatma Gandhi as his leader, as his preceptor, want to walk with my head up high, a free man, saying what I like, writing what I like, expressing my comments, my dissent, my criticism? Or am I going to be controlled, restricted, and put down by an omnipotent government? These are the questions that this conference will have to answer. For civil liberties means those essential features of the society which make it a free society. Absence of civil liberties makes a society a captive society, a society which is governed not by laws, but by men, a society which can be trampled upon by government. And remember this, there is no worse form of dictatorship than what is known as constitutional dictatorship. If behind the facade of the Constitution, technically observing the rules that the Constitution lays down and violating the spirit, you build up a dictatorship, then you have a constitutional dictatorship. I would rather have the Constitution abrogated than to pretend that she is constitutional. She is democratic, and all that she has done is permitted by the Constitution. This is constitutional dictatorship," unquote. This speech was delivered during the dark age of Indian democracy, where there was curtailment of civil liberties and democratic rights in view of the emergency declared by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. and when few had courage to speak up. I would like to conclude, as I do not wish to keep you any longer from hearing Justice Oak deliver the 8th Chief Justice M.C. Chagla lecture on human rights and environmental justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Chagla, sir, for those lovely words, very inspirational. And every time someone is speaking on this dais, we are coming to know more about all the legal luminaries in our country and what all work they've done to contribute to the betterment of the society. I request now Rashmi Ma'am, former Head of Law Department of University of Mumbai, former Dean of Interdisciplinary Studies, Chairperson of Chief Justice Chagla Chair. A lot of us have had the privilege of studying under her and completing our LLM. I request her to come and say a few words, please.
Revered His Lordship Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, revered Justice Riyaz Chagla, sir, our own Vice Chancellor Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, sir, the Registrar of this prestigious university, Dr. Prasad Karande, sir, my colleague, Dr. Rajeshree Varhadi, all the esteemed trustees of Chief Justice M.C. Chagla Memorial Trust, honorable judges, senior counsels, advocates, my revered mother, the principals of law colleges, faculties and students, namaskar, good evening, and a very, very warm welcome to each one of you all. About the chair, as Justice Riyaz Chagla sir mentioned, the chair was established via an MOU executed by and between the University of Mumbai and Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Trust on the 22nd of January 2008 with an objective of promoting research and fostering the ideals of human rights and civil liberties. I am privileged and honored to be the Chair-Professor of Chief Justice Chagla's chair till this date. It's established in the Department of Law. So far, we have conducted 7 Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Lectures, all addressed by the esteemed judges of the Supreme Court and High Court with their expertise in the field of human rights and civil liberties, touching upon the different facets of human rights and contemporary relevance so far as human rights are concerned. I am privileged that today we have the 8th Chief Justice Chagla Memorial Lecture that will be addressed by His Lordship Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, on a crucial topic, that's human rights and environmental justice. We are further privileged that the compilation of the previous 7 memorial lectures has been released by His Lordship Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, and on behalf of the chair, the Department of Law and the University of Mumbai, I'm very grateful to His Lordship Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, for squeezing out time to be amidst us. 2 prominent personalities whose absence have left a void in this August gathering is, as Justice Riyaz Chagla sir said, is Senior Counsel Shri Iqbal Chagla sir, who passed away on the 12th of January 2025 after a brief illness. His pivotal contribution to the autobiography of Chief Justice M.C. Chagla, titled as Roses in December, with a prologue, God gave us memory that we might have roses in December. It's gone a long way that's being circulated from time to time. Another prominent personality is my elder brother who passed away a year back, having attended all the previous 7 memorial lectures, and a person who possessed keen interest in receiving knowledge in the field of human rights. About human rights, what strikes me today is what Martin Luther King Jr. had said, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. He said, I have a dream. I have a dream that a day will come when my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Has that day come today? Today, when we are assembling here to discuss and learn about human rights, I think we need to introspect from an Indian perspective. It's been more than 7 decades since the UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948. It's been more than 7 decades since India achieved independence, more than 7 decades since the Constitution of India has been put in its place. India is also a party to majority of the international instruments, human rights instruments. But significantly, India has made certain declarations and reservations which are incompatible with the aim and object of the very covenant or the very convention as such. There are 2 covenants which are crucial and part, and it gets split out of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There's a covenant on the civil and political rights, which India has ratified, but India has not ratified the 2 optional protocols which are supposed to be the part of the covenant. Another covenant on the economic, social, and cultural rights, there's an optional protocol which provides for individual complaint mechanism and abolition of capital punishment or death sentence. I think I'll be failing in my duties if I don't place before you all that India has still date, till the year 2025, not ratified the Convention Against Torture and other cruel or inhuman degrading treatment or punishment, having signed it way back in the year 1997. India is a democratic state, and our Constitution of India has within its 4 broad compartments: preamble, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, and fundamental duties, expressed its commitment towards protection and promotion of human rights. And a free and independent judiciary has also played a very crucial role in interpreting the various legal provisions in the context of human rights. So if I pick up one article of the Constitution of India, Article 21, no person shall be deprived of his right to life and personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. These very 2 words, right to life and personal liberty, are of widest amplitude, and it covers range of rights which are not, or which are implicit within this very 2 words as such. So if this be so, how are we going to gauge, or how do we relate environmental issue? It's not just an Indian issue, it's a global issue. And human rights, it's a serious human rights issue, which we will be enlightened by His Lordship Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir. But the journey has been 50-year-long journey, with the 1972 Stockholm Conference to the Rio de Janeiro Conference in the year 1992. We have several environmental legislations. We have 2 prominent principles, the precautionary principle and the polluter pay principle. We have the 2000 Millennium Development Goals, and thereafter in the year 2002, that was a major world-level summit at Johannesburg, South Africa, to discuss about sustainable development. The year 2015 has been marked as a significant year and a landmark year for the purpose of promoting international policy shaping as such. If that be so, the 2 crucial out of the 17 parameters of the Sustainable Development Goals, the 2 crucial goals, that's goal number 3, which speaks of good health and well-being, and goal number 13, that's climate action. I'm sure we'll be educating ourselves today with regard to these issues as such. So environment as well is a major human rights issue. So speaking of human rights, in my concluding, can we think of a universe where human rights are uniformly protected? It strikes me of what was dreamt by none other than Rabindranath Tagore ji in his quote, that where we need to think of a universe where the mind is free and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out of the depth of truth, where the tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert of dead habits as such, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. And more to learn from the views that will be expressed by Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uza ma'am. As always, we get to learn so much from you. Thank you so much. Justice Abhay S. Oka, born on 25th May 1960, did his BSc and LLM from the University of Bombay. Yes, that time it was Bombay. He was enrolled as an advocate on the 28th of June 1983, started practicing in Thane District Court in the chambers of his father, Advocate Srinivas W. Oka. In 1985-86, he joined the chambers of Sri V.P. Tipnis, a former judge of the Bombay High Court and former Lok Ayukt. He has appeared in several important matters and in public interest litigations. He was elevated as an additional judge of the Bombay High Court on the 29th August 2003. From 12th November 2005, he was appointed as a permanent judge of the Bombay High Court. On the 10th of May 2019, he took oath as Chief Justice of High Court of Karnataka. And on the 31st of August 2021, he took an oath as Judge of Supreme Court of India. He is known to be a person with integrity and impeccable character. He has deep concern for issues related to the environment and has delivered many landmark judgments in his tenure as a judge. I now request our Honorable Chief Guest, Justice Abhay Oka, to please address the gathering and share his words of wisdom with us on human rights and environmental justice. Abhay Oka, sir.
Good evening. I'm so happy to be back in this historic Convocation Hall. My esteemed colleagues, sister and brother judges of the Bombay High Court, Justice Rajeshree N, retired judges of the Bombay High Court, academicians, students, the Vice Chancellor and Pro-Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Dr. Rashmi M and her colleagues, senior members of the bar, and friends. I consider to be a great privilege to deliver a lecture in the memory of late Justice M.C.Chagla. I remember in 1980, I had privilege of hearing late Justice M.C.Chagla. An organization of lawyers had arranged a lecture, most probably in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. In 1980, it was widely said that the parliamentary democracy in India will be replaced by a presidential form of democracy. So there were a lot of protests, and in one of the protest meetings, Justice Chagla spoke. He was very old, he required support in walking. But his speech was so inspiring. I was first year LLB student then. I went back, I told my father, who was a district court practitioner, about the speech delivered by Justice Chagla. Few days thereafter, my father presented me autobiography of Justice M.C.Chagla, Roses in December. My father was not sure whether I will read the entire book. Therefore, he had marked few chapters in the book, and the most important chapter was the bar. But I must say that some of the chapters I read and reread, and during last 22 years as a judge, wherever I have gone to law colleges, law schools, or judicial academies, first thing I tell is to read book by Justice M.C.Chagla. Much can be said about what he has said in the book, but it is very important to understand what he did as Chief Justice of Bombay High Court. One of the greatest gestures which he did was on account of birth centenary of Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He held a function in Central Hall where Justice Dawar convicted the great patriot with sentence of transportation for 6 years. And Justice Chagla was candid enough to apologize, and he said that we have committed a mistake. He openly said that Bombay High Court committed a mistake, and we have sent this great patriot to jail in Mandale outside India. Of course, his gesture was criticized by many. It was said that what Justice Dawar did was law, which was then prevailing. In the book, he had said that as a child, he had attended Lokmanya Tilak trial. After so many years, I realized why he did this extraordinary gesture of holding a function in 1956. I realized that when I read defense speech addressed to the members of the jury by Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak. And I must say that in a very recent judgment on issue of freedom of speech and expression, I was guided by what Lokmanya Tilak said in his speech. He said in his speech that I know that British government does not like me, but that does not mean that I should be prosecuted for sedition. Second important thing which he said was that somebody may feel that I have committed offense of sedition. Only because somebody says it, it does not become offense. And that's why perhaps Justice Chagla was so fascinated about what Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak did. And in his book, he has expressed several of his personal views about the nature of legal profession, the duties of the judges. It's very fascinating to read. And even if you read it repeatedly, you learn something different. And therefore, I feel privileged to be here on the occasion of M.C.Chagla Memorial Lecture. The subject is, of course, dear to me. As usual, I have to begin by saying that I am going to express my personal views on the subject and not views as judge of the Supreme Court. But you will also realize when I say this, perhaps I am going to say what I have said in my judgments. First and foremost thing which I always believed as a judge of Bombay High Court and a judge of the Supreme Court or a Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, that it is the duty of judges to protect the environment. Because if the judiciary does not protect the environment, nobody is going to protect. And therefore, I was candid enough to say in one of my orders in the Supreme Court that we must pass harsh orders to protect the environment. Unless we pass harsh orders, we won't be able to protect the environment. Today, I'm not going to deal with those principles which everybody of you knows: polluter pays principle, precautionary principle, then sustainable development, public trust doctrine. Today, actually, I should be speaking more about environmental rule of law. As all of you know, that right to live in pollution-free environment is a right, fundamental right protected under Article 21. Coupled with that, there is a duty under Article 51A to protect our natural environment, to protect our lakes, rivers, wildlife, and most importantly, to have compassion for living beings. It is elementary human right to have pollution-free atmosphere. Article 21 guarantees us right to live with dignity. How do we live with dignity if we live in polluted atmosphere? Very interestingly, today's topic refers to environmental justice. After having presided over various benches dealing with environmental issues, if really someday we have to do environmental justice by following environmental rule of law, then all the human beings will be in the dock. And perhaps those who will preside over the bench which will enforce the environmental rule of law will have to say that these people are guilty, and it's a rarest of the rare case. All of us must owe responsibility for damaging the environment beyond control. Therefore, if we are very clear in our minds that we want to follow environmental rule of law, the consequences will be disastrous. All of us will be in dock. Look at the picture. 75 years of existence of Constitution, which gives utmost importance to protection of environment. Look at any city in India. About Delhi, I am going to talk separately because it is the most polluted city in India. What we have done, we have polluted rivers. We have ensured that lakes disappear from the cities. We have ensured that water bodies disappear. We have ensured that there is large-scale felling, illegal felling of trees. In a city like Bombay, we have ensured that mangroves are destroyed. Sometimes we sitting as judges, we liberally allow mangroves to be destroyed without realizing that after the judgment about which Brother M.C.Chagla spoke, there is a judgment of the Supreme Court of bench of 3 judges which says that mangroves are part of protected forests which are protected under Godavaram judgment. Everybody ignores that judgment, binding judgment. And what we have done in cities, in every city, we have created hills and mountains of solid waste, because none of the cities in India has implemented solid waste management rules of 2016. And therefore, go to any city, you will find that there is a hill and mountains of this solid waste. Today I read in the newspapers with great deal of shock that one such mountain is created in city of Mumbai on a forest land. This is one area where all of us have failed. The government machinery has failed, the local bodies have failed. And go to any city. I remember in 2016 or 17, I had to pass that harsh order, one of the first harsh orders passed, where I imposed ban on new development in Bombay. Because in those days, about 7,000 metric tons of solid waste were generated in city, which was untreated. Today in Delhi, it is 4,000 metric tons of solid waste generated every day, which is untreated. What are we driving at? What will happen after 25 years? Nobody is thinking about it. We were greatly hopeful that Environment Protection Act 1986 will be implemented in its true letter and spirit. There are rules framed. I give you an example of solid waste management rules. There are rules regarding plastic waste. There are rules regarding construction waste. And please look at what we have done to Environment Protection Act. Very few of you must have noticed that. In the Act as originally enacted, under Section 15, breach of any provisions of the Environment Protection Act, breach of any rule, breach of any order passed under the Environment Protection Act. There are so many orders and so many rules, noise pollution rules, solid waste management rules, so many rules are there. Every such breach was made offense, which could be punished by a sentence of imprisonment for 5 years. Today, there is amendment brought to Section 15. Now it is no longer an offense. All that a person who commits breach has to do is to pay penalty, is subject to correction, is go up to only 10 lakhs. And presiding over MC Mehta bench, I realized that the government has brought in amendment, but government had not set up the machinery which is required. Adjudicating officers are required to adjudicate what should be the compensation, what should be the penalty. Under the judicial orders, now government has set up that machinery. So today, it may be a case of illegal tree felling, illegal destruction of mangroves, illegal filling of lake or water bodies. All that can happen is person will be penalized by paying some small amount by way of penalty. In one of my judicial orders, I express anguish about it, that if you are going to treat breach of environmental law so lightly, it is obvious that tomorrow we'll see a day when our environment is completely destroyed. Of course, today I can say that it has happened in many cities. I was in Bangalore. I was shocked. In the region of Bangalore, there are about 400 lakes. Those lakes were destroyed. We have to pass very harsh order, constitute a team to go through the revenue records and to recreate the lakes. I don't know what happened to that order. Adjacent city of Thane, there are 27 lakes in existence. Today, hardly 8 lakes are in existence. So in all major cities, lakes have gone. Look at the scenario in Bombay. Where are the gardens in Bombay? Where we are going to breathe fresh air? As compared to that, look at Delhi, look at Bangalore and many other cities. Allahabad, for example, there are beautiful gardens in the city. Bangalore, in Bombay, we talk very proudly about our Bombay city. Where are the gardens? Gardens are a very important part of environment. The gardens have disappeared. Therefore, everything which is good, everything which is necessary to protect environment has gone as far as these cities are concerned. There is a provision in Indian Penal Code, section 304A. I'm sorry, I'm referring to IPC. Now there is a new law, but I am born and brought up in IPC tradition. But there is equivalent provision in the new act. Any rash and negligent act which results into killing of human being is made an offense. But look at the air pollution. Our industries create air pollution. Crackers create air pollution. And this air pollution ultimately kills human beings. But nobody is penalized. Inadvertent action or omission on your part will attract offense under section 304A. But when we destroy our environment, when we create air pollution, which leads to many diseases which ultimately lead to death, there is no penalty. How we are going to save the environment? That's the question everybody will have to ask. There is one more aspect of environment, that is protecting our trees. I personally believe, which I said in one of the orders, that illegal felling of say 50 trees or 100 trees is as worst as killing a human being. There is a separate topic which I want to deal with today. There is always, we talk about sustainable development, but talking about trees, I want to share for my personal experience. In Bangalore, so-called development projects were coming up. Therefore, various authorities used to apply, maybe for construction of flyovers, for metro, for ring railway, ring road. Authorities used to apply to tree officer or tree authority for grant of permission of cutting of trees. A bench felt that this is not good enough. Therefore, we appointed a team of experts, and we said that even if tree officer grants permission, it will go to the tree officer and then it will come to the court and court will decide. Every time tree officer granted permission, which went to the committee of experts, we had directed the committee of experts that not to sit in the office. We told them to go on the site, find out what is the project, where the project is going to come up, and find out whether we will be able to save trees. And my experience of 2.5 years was, in case of every proposal, minimum 10 to 15% of the trees were saved because that committee was appointed. So that means that these tree authorities grant permission so casually. There are huge trees. They are 100 years old, 150 years old. Now, if we destroy one tree, it will take 100 years to get similar tree. And then we are passing orders of compensatory afforestation. I'll give you an example. Suppose today, somebody has to permit felling of 50 trees in Oval Maidan. Can we have compensatory afforestation at Virar? Or can we have it at Nasik? So this was the idea. You compensate the nature by providing for compensation somewhere else. Look at the scenario in Delhi. There is a centrally empowered committee. So we passed an order that don't act as post office, just don't give rubber stamps on the permission granted by tree authority. Go to the site and find out. I have realized during last 2 years that every proposal which goes to CEC says even it is enough to fell 50% of trees. And then we realized in MC Mehta case where large number of permissions were granted by the court, nobody bothered to find out whether those terms and conditions are implemented. Therefore, as we learn, we are judges, we learn from our own mistakes. So I realized the mistakes committed by all of us, and now we have started passing an order. First go, plant the trees, let the trees survive for considerable period, we'll get certificate from the CEC, CEC has experts, and then actual tree felling will be permitted. Because we came across 60 to 70 cases where permission for felling of trees was granted, subject to condition of planting 1:10 trees. That was not done. So destruction of trees is a major cause for destruction of environment. And there comes the debate between protecting environment and development. Every citizen of India cannot oppose development. Now, these are my personal views which I am going to express. I think we have gone wrong about the very concept of development. What is development? Let us talk about development on the background of city of Mumbai. Can we say that there is development because we have large number of flyovers, large number of roads, skyscrapers, large buildings? When can development take place? In the context of the constitutional rights, right under Article 21. What is the concept of development under the Constitution? We must understand that. A city can be said to be a developed city provided there is affordable housing in the city. Medical facilities, medical treatment is available at affordable price. There are facilities of education at reasonable cost. There are gardens. Then there are places where citizens can go and breathe fresh air. This is the concept of development. Today, we have a scenario in city of Bombay that will apply to many other cities. Somebody is appointed in Bombay to work on salary of say 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. He can't get housing in Mumbai and he has to go and stay in slums. So therefore, we have to think what is development. If we rationalize our concept of development, if we understand what is the development, then perhaps this usual battle between development and environment will not arise at all. And therefore, now what we feel is environment cannot come in the way of development. All this comes because we have completely wrong concept of development. We must correct our concept of development. If we don't correct the concept of development, we'll destroy our environment more and more. Those who are working in the field of environment, I'm talking about city of Bombay. Even today, we have nearly completely destroyed environment in the city of Mumbai. Only because of the orders of the Bombay High Court that Sanjay Gandhi National Park could be saved. If those orders were not there, imagine what would have happened. Then I come to the issue regarding Delhi. There are a large number of orders passed in petitions filed by M.C. Mehta to curb the pollution in Delhi. But what is happening? AQI level goes to 400, 500, where people find it difficult to breathe. And then, under the orders of the Supreme Court, we have those graded action plans, Plan 1, Plan 2, Plan 3. Plan 4 is where all construction activities come to standstill. Entry of trucks in the Delhi, capital territory of Delhi, is prohibited. They're all created by judiciary. Judiciary directed government to create an organization which is known as Commission for Air Quality Management. It's a statutory authority created under the Environment Protection Act. And since environment protection has become toothless, what we have to do is, we have to tell this Commission for Air Quality Management to pass orders under Section 12. The reason is that if those orders are not abided by, those who have committed a breach, they can be prosecuted under Section 14. Even the government officers of public authority who commit breach, they can be prosecuted under Section 14. And in Delhi, practically every day we take up M.C. Mehta, starting from December to February. But efforts by the court are not good enough. We are not able to stop the pollution. Delhi is capital city of India. And I always imagine we, the judges, members of the bar, affluent people, we have those machines in our house, air purifier machines. But large population of Delhi stays in shanties. There are people who work on the streets, people who work on the field. What must be happening to them? We are very comfortable. In court also we have those air purifiers. With this AQI going about 300, 400, what will happen to human beings? And this happens in Delhi. And why it is happening? It is not only because of stubble burning in Punjab or Haryana. Some percentages contribute as stubble burning. It is happening because of this complete failure to follow solid waste management rules. There is a complete failure to follow the rules regarding construction waste. A structure is demolished. You can't imagine how much air pollution it creates if precautions are not taken. So construction waste is a huge challenge in the cities. And look at what is happening to rivers. I may be atheist, but I believe that no religion tells its followers to permits followers to damage environment. And in the name of religion, we have damaged our rivers. The damage is irreparable. How are you going to repair the damage caused to our rivers? Just take a tour of Delhi and adjacent area. Look what is happening to River Yamuna. Our beaches, look at Bombay, our beaches. We have damaged it beyond repair now. Now, these are the issues which are faced in the cities. And first thing we must do is very strict implementation of our law which protects the trees. Second is strict implementation of air pollution. There is a law which governs air pollution. We are not implementing it. And strict implementation of solid waste management rules, which is something very impossible. And this is pan-India situation. I remember I was a guardian judge of one of the districts where we were struggling to find a place to construct quarters for judiciary. It was a taluka place where there were about 4 or 5 judicial officers. There were no quarters available. There was no residential accommodation available. So I had called the collector, I had called revenue officers, divisional commissioner, and told them to give me a land. So one of the revenue officers said, sir, there's a great human being who is willing to offer a piece of land for construction of judicial quarters at 10 or 15% of the market value. I was so delighted, we went there. When I went there, a municipal officer came there. He said, sir, it's fine, this land looks fine, but I am going to tell you, sir, we don't have landfill sites. So there is a resolution passed by the municipal council that just behind this plot they are going to have landfill site. And that was the reason for generosity of that man. He was ready to offer the land at 10% or 15% of market value. So this is not confined only to bigger cities. This has percolated to all towns. There are 2 or 3 very serious issues. One issue is about the noise pollution. Noise pollution, as you know, has direct connection with Article 21. Under Article 21, right is given to every human being. He has a choice not to hear. And imagine what kind of noise pollution we create on account of religious festivals of all religions. I always wonder why noise should be associated with religious festivals. Why I came across cases not only in Maharashtra but in Bangalore and in Delhi. Large-scale cutting takes place within the precincts of places of religion. And I was really shocked. One case came to us that was in Taj Trapezium area where no tree can be cut unless there is permission of the Supreme Court. About 15 to 20, 70 years old, 100 years old trees were cut. Then of course we passed some order. At that time I remembered what great saint from Maharashtra, Sant Tukaram said, Vrushyavalli Amha Soyari. He said that the trees, the nature, they are all relatives. So he has put trees and nature on higher pedestal than blood relatives. This is how our saints looked at. There was a litigation in Bombay High Court of cleaning Chandrabhaga river, where that Pandharpur temple is there. We had to pass very drastic orders, perhaps Brother Riaz was party to that bench. And large-scale protests. After I left Bombay High Court, I was reading a book. There was another great saint, some of you must have heard his name, Sant Gadge Maharaj. I read what he used to do was, whenever that Wari is there, in Ashadhi and Kartikeya Ekadashi, he used to go to Pandharpur with his disciples, and only one thing he used to do, he used to clean both the sides of Chandrabhaga river. He used to personally clean it. So this is the message given by our saints to protect the environment, but we ignore those messages. Now, what is the way forward? That's an issue. So today, we have air pollution, we have noise pollution, we have water pollution, and we have destruction of our trees. What is the solution? Are the courts good enough to every time act very strongly and pass those drastic orders? My answer is no. Because we can pass orders, we can issue several directions, but ultimately human beings implement those directions. And if human beings or the citizens of India, if they are completely ignorant about their duties under the Constitution, all orders of the courts will be ineffective. There is only one solution to it. I have been telling this to Chairperson of the Legal Service Authority in Maharashtra. We had started that at grassroots level, we should start massive awareness programs about the duties of citizens under the Constitution. I addressed young students of a law school, a very prominent law schools, and there was a question and answer session. So one of the questions which was asked to me by one of the students, he said, "Sir, you say that we can't cut the trees, but if the tree obstructs in construction of my house, is it not my fundamental right to fell the tree?" I asked him, is it not a fundamental right conferred on every citizen to stay in pollution-free environment? He said yes. Then I told him that what we are forgetting is something basic. That when you cut a tree, when you damage environment, you are infringing the fundamental right granted to some other citizen under Article 21. Now, this I have to tell to very bright students of law schools. So, mass public awareness is required. And I am not talking about villages, I am talking about those who stay in cities. In one of the very famous Marathi movies, there's a dialogue by hero. He says that in India, it is necessary to educate our educated class. And this is one area, law regarding environment, where we need to educate our educated classes. This is one area on which we have to work. And second and most important thing is those who fight for environment, we don't honor them in our society. I can tell you stories, many stories about those who stood up against the violation of laws regarding environment, those who filed public interest litigations. Forget about acknowledging their efforts, forget about praising them. Many members of the society, many elements of society attack them. They are always ignored. Since Brother Justice Gautam Patel is here, I want to give only one illustration. I talked about 27 lakes in city of Thane. There was a retired army person who was on short commission for 10 years. He was born and brought up in city. He saw one lake destroyed in his presence. Hundreds of constructions were erected. Therefore, he filed a petition in Bombay High Court. Bombay High Court directed demolition of all illegal structures. Illegal structures were removed. And then, one fine morning, somebody constructed a temple right at the center. This man went there and objected. The result was, a first information report was registered against him, and he was under threat of arrest. Fortunately, Bombay High Court intervened. And Justice Gautam Patel, who was a lawyer, he was appointed to design a garden around the lake, and he did an excellent job. The point is different. When that lake was recreated, there was a beautiful garden. Nobody remembered that man who had filed a PIL. And there was a huge function arranged where so many political leaders came, they took credit, they displayed photographs before and after. But this man who fought for the cause, he was not even invited to attend the function. This is only one illustration I mean. We are ignoring those who fight for environment. And unless, see, forget about joining them, but we are criticizing them. There are attacks over environmental activists. Therefore, these are the areas where we have to really work, and the students will have to work. And one more thing, I always believe that, now I give example of amendment to section 15 of the Environment Protection Act. When some other laws are amended, there is uproar in the parliament. There is uproar outside the parliament. But nobody has even noticed this kind of amendment. The rigors of the environmental law is brought down by this amendment of section 15. Nobody has noticed that. And therefore today, I can say that this Environment Protection Act and rules frame, it has become toothless. The last issue, even Constitution recognizes that. Constitution enjoins us to save our wildlife. Only if we save our wildlife, there will be forests. It is vice versa also. If we want to have forest, then we must save and protect our wildlife. But imagine what we have done, or you can see after 75 years of existence of Constitution, all of us with great deal of determination have encroached upon the forests. We are destroying our wildlife. Wildlife also constitutes essential part of our environment. I remember a case coming up before me. We have that Nag Panchami, when there is one particular place in Sangli district or Satara district, I forgot, where people catch live cobras. The court had to intervene, and court had to tell that you will not do that, because that is an offense. There is a judgment of the Supreme Court which says that even animals have some kind of a right which may not be on par with Article 21, but slightly lower than that. That judgment also is not implemented. So, essential part of our environment is to protect the animals, to protect the wildlife. Even there also, we have completely failed during the last 75 years. We have been celebrating functions, we are having functions at different places where we celebrate 75 years of existence of Constitution. I don't understand what is the occasion to celebrate, because this vital part of the Constitution, our duty to protect the environment, there we have completely failed. And therefore, now some citizens will have to raise their voice and they will have to tell everybody what is the correct meaning of development. Unless we understand the correct meaning of development, we'll continue to destroy our environment in the name of development. So this is something on which all the citizens will have to be really active, and everybody will have to raise voice. And finally, I was told that there were organizations in city of Mumbai, city of Pune, who are fighting for the cause of environment. Some of the organizations are becoming defunct. Again, we must take the responsibility, because we are not doing our duty under the Constitution. That is also one of the very worrying matter of concern for me, that those who are fighting for environment, now we don't find them to be active. So I think time given to me is over. Environment is one subject where I can go on and on. I can refer to several judgments, several precedents, several articles. But that is not going to be good enough. Ultimately, what is needed is change of approach. Unless we change our own approach, we won't be able to save our environment. And last thing, since I am speaking in Bombay, today it is the turn of Delhi. It won't be long that it will be turn of Bombay also. When you see, this year also I am told AQI level crossed 300 or 350. And Bombay, lastly what we do, we don't curb the pollution. And what we do is, in the name of rehabilitation of project affected persons, we shift those persons to worst polluted area in Mahul. This is what we do in Bombay. So therefore, we need a lot of course correction in Bombay. And I hope and trust that people will become more active in the matter of environment, people will become more sensitive. Otherwise, maybe after 25 years and 30 years, when we assemble for a program like this, we'll be wearing masks, unless we do something very drastic. So I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to express my views, and I hope and trust that some students I see present here, many of them may not be here because of exams, they will take this issue very seriously, and in future they will become environmental activists. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Lordship, for sharing your thoughts. You have reminded us of our collective responsibility to protect the environment and human rights vis-à-vis the environment. We owe it to our present and future generations to definitely make a change. I now request Professor Sanjay Jadhav from the Faculty of Law Department to please give a vote of thanks.
A great good evening to one and all. I say it is a great evening because Today, we heard great words from the great personality, none other than Honorable Mr. Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, the Judge of the Supreme Court of India. With this statement, I, Dr. Sanjay Jadhav, Associate Professor in the Department of Law, take the pride opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of the great chair, none other than the Chair for Civil Liberty of Chief Justice M.C.Chagla, as and then was Memorial Trust, and the esteemed institute, the University of Mumbai. At the first instance, I am thankful on behalf of University of Mumbai to His Lordship, Honorable Mr. Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, the Judge of the the Judge of the Supreme Court, for his adept words of wisdom. The speech of His Lordship began with the great personality, none other than Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak. His Lordship highlighted the various facets of legal jurisprudence. His Lordship discussed in detail the constitutional horizon, including Article 21 of the Constitution of India, Directive Principles of State Policy. Here, the commitment of His Lordship, Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, the Judge of Supreme Court, seems to be similar with the commitment of Chief Justice M.C.Chagla, as and then he was. In the words of Chief Justice M.C.Chagla, which I quote, "If all provisions of Directive Principles of State Policy have been carried out, India will be the heaven in this planet." The commitment of His Lordship, none other than Justice Abhay S.Oka, the Judge of Supreme Court, is commendable with respect to environmental protection through the implementation of Directive Principles of State Policy in line with fundamental rights of the Constitution of India. On behalf of University of Mumbai, sir, I am indeed thankful for enforcing the Directive Principles policy of the state in line with the fundamental rights. Then His Lordship also highlighted the various provisions of the Indian Penal Code, including Section 304A of the Indian Penal Code, which deals with causing death by rash and negligence, and its applicability with respect to environmental jurisprudence. His Lordship then discussed the environmental legislations in detail, including the provisions of Environmental Protection Act, Air Pollution and Prevention Control Act, Noise Pollution Act, etc. etc. I am indeed thankful to your Lordship, sir, for highlighting those provisions in detail. Then His Lordship discussed the new dimensions to the right to development from different perspectives. In fact, all of us are not aware. Today, in fact, in my personal capacity, I was enlightened by the new horizon of the term right to development in the words of His Lordship, none other than Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir. His Lordship then discussed the other angles of environment protection, such as compensatory jurisprudence with respect to environmental destruction. His Lordship then expressed his deep anxiety with respect to some of the cities in India, including Mumbai and Delhi. His Lordship also expressed his deep concern with respect to the environmental pollution which has taken place in the Yamuna River, which has taken place under the garb of religion. At the end, His Lordship gave the ultimate message by referring the famous statement of Jagat Guru Tukaram, Rukshavalli Ama Soheri. His Lordship also referred the action plan of the great Sant Gadge Baba, which he used to do at the time of Ashadi and Kartiki Ekadasi. Sir, your words of wisdom will provide us a great sense of foods to the great entire intellect. Then, I am also thankful to Honorable Mr. Justice R.Chagla, sir, for throwing the light on the judicious contribution of Justice Abhay S.Oka, sir, in the field of judiciary. I am thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, sir, for implementing the principle of environmental sustainability. Let me tell you, His Highness, Professor Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, is known for the man of action and communication. Under his able guidance, we came to know the science and law, how they are closely connected to each other. we came to know the interdisciplinary approach of science and law in its true letters and spirit. Under his leadership, our two students from University of Mumbai Law Academy received an international prize at international level. Sir, we are indeed thankful, and we anticipate and we continue to hope to have such kind of supports and guidance to you, to us as well. Once again, thank you very much to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni sir, for his precious presence with us. I am thankful to Professor Dr. Ajay Bamre sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Mumbai, for his presence. I am thankful to Professor Karande sir, the Registrar, University of Mumbai, for his presence. I am thankful to Professor Dr. Rajeshree Varhadi ma'am, the Head Department of Law, for her wonderful welcome speech. I am thankful to Professor Rashmi Oza ma'am for her gracious presence and for taking heart-hearted efforts for making this program truly successful. Once again, I am thankful to other judges of the Bombay High Court. Let me take their name in my personal capacity. I am thankful Her Ladyship, Srimati Justice Gauri Godse ma'am, for her presence. I am thankful His Lordship, Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Patil sir, the judge of the Bombay High Court. I am also thankful to His Lordship, Honorable Mr. Justice Manish Pitre sir. I am also thankful to His Lordship, Honorable Mr. Atul Chandurkar, for their auspicious presence at this August gathering. I am thankful His Lordship, Honorable Mr. Gautam Patel sir, for his presence. I am thankful to Advocate Anil Harish sir. I am thankful to Anita Agarwal sir, of course, Advocate Rui Rodriguez sir, who always helped us in the university legal issues. I am thankful to other law teachers of my department, including Dr. Alka, Sheetal Setia, Tilak sir, and other teachers from the different law colleges. I am thankful to Rashmi Khan sir, who is an active member of this trust, and I am thankful to my entire August gathering and students, without which this program would have not been successful. I am thankful to Kunika also for his wonderful comparing. I am thankful to the GAD and technical administration for their wonderful support. With these few words, I conclude my vote of thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sanjay Jadhav. You really helped to recap the whole evening today, and I'm sure this is going to remind us once again of our duties. I thank our dignitaries for gracing this occasion, especially for taking out time from their busy schedules. And I also thank all of you for coming, and our dignitaries in the audience. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to announce now that the high tea is going to be served, but I request all attendees to please maintain decorum and let our honorable dignitaries leave first, and then we will proceed towards the refreshment. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for this enlightened evening.
Bye-bye.